Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is DSNY Newscast, and this year, 2025, is going to be a pivotal year for the Disney parks. And the reason for that is that 2025 is going to be the kickoff to the next big super cycle of construction projects for the Disney parks around the world. See, last year we got D23 and all the official announcements of these brand new attractions and lands coming to the parks over the next few years. But it's this year when we see the majority of those projects actually begin construction at some point throughout the year. And so because of that, we're roughly around anywhere between 2 years to maybe 4 years away from actually stepping foot inside and actually experiencing all of this for ourselves in person. And some will be a little bit sooner, like Tropical Americas at Animal Kingdom. That's a 2-year build opening in 2027, and some might take a little bit longer. And if I were to hazard a guess there, that's something like Villains Land at Magic Kingdom or the Avatar Land at Disneyland Resort. Those might take a little bit longer, but nevertheless we're within this kind of 4-year construction cycle right now for the parks. And so what I want to do today is focus in on Walt Disney World and talk about the state of construction at Walt Disney World as we enter into this big construction year. And where I want to begin is actually talking about closure dates for upcoming construction. As last week we got the official closure date for Muppet Vision 3D. And it's going to be Saturday, June 7th, 2025. And so that is also going to be the date when Pizza Rizzo is going to close along with Muppet Vision 3D. So mark your calendars now. June 7th is your last day to go and experience Muppet Vision 3D at Hollywood Studios. I'm hopefully going to be there that day to say one last farewell to Muppet Vision 3D, play the music, light the lights one last time with the Muppets at Muppet Vision 3D. I've always loved that attraction, so it is sad to see it go. Now, they have talked about a preservation of the show film. We don't know exactly what they mean by that yet. We don't have the exact details on that, but it is good to hear they're talking about it, because the show film itself is the last thing that Jim Henson ever worked on with the Muppets before he died. So it does hold a lot of historical significance for the Muppets to preserve that film and make sure next generations can view Muppet Vision 3D as well. We'll see what happens with that, but in terms of construction, Melrose's Ristorante Italiano is going to be closed on May 10th, 2025. That is the last day you can go and dine at that restaurant, as it's going to be closed from May 11th onwards. And throughout May, they're going to be starting a phased closure of Grand Avenue and the surrounding areas of Grand Avenue. So you'll start to see some construction walls go up around Grand Avenue for then. And actually, we should be expecting the first of all of the construction walls to be going up sometime in March, as that's already been confirmed by a Disney spokesperson. But what we're going to be getting instead, obviously, haven't mentioned it yet, is Monstropolis and the Monsters Inc. door coaster, which we've all been wanting to see for many years. So they're building that as a fresh build. It's going to be a ground up fresh build, the door coaster at the back of where Muppet Vision 3D is located at the moment. And they've actually already started to dismantle one of the old Streets of America facades to make way for the prep work on that new attraction. And when things do kick into gear this summer, when everything's closed within the land, the first thing that will probably change is going to be that Stage 1 company store building in the middle. That's likely to be demolished fairly quickly, as we can see it's nowhere to be seen within the artwork. But one of the other things to mention here is that there is speculation that they might be doing a phased opening of Monstropolis as well. So they might look to open up the Muppets Theatre as a new Monsters Inc. attraction sooner than the rest of the door coaster is going to be open, because back there it's going to take a lot longer to build that attraction in that location and do all the rest of the theming, and they might be looking to reopen the theatre with Monsters Inc. in that location. So something to keep your eyes peeled for there. Then moving on over to Rivers of America, as that's another thing that's going to be closing supposedly this year. Now, obviously there's been a lot of back and forth with the South Florida Water Management District and Disney in terms of the permits for this area, but Disney are moving ahead with this expansion of the Magic Kingdom with Cars and Villains in this area. Obviously Cars is going to go in the front half of where Rivers of America is, and the Villains Land is going to go in the second half of Rivers of America, a much larger area back there. And the reason why I call it an expansion is because it's going to be expanding the capacity of Magic Kingdom, whereas the Riverboat had limited capacity. This is going to be adding 4 attractions to that area of where the Riverboat is on Rivers of America. So it's a capacity expansion to the Magic Kingdom, which does matter in terms of operations. But we haven't got any closing date for this yet, but it does seem that they do want to start construction on this year, if everything goes to plan. So a closure date should probably be coming in the first half of this year, and a closure should probably come in the first half of this year as well. But then the next thing is DinoLand and Chester and Heston's Dinorama. Now, I was there for its last day of operation on January 12th. Then the next day they had the construction walls up, and on January 17th, Imagineering officially confirmed that they've done a groundbreaking ceremony for this project, because they need to get moving on this because it's opening in 2027, and they had dirt moving. Now, they did bring in the dirt and put it down to do the shovels in the ground photo op, which is typical when it comes to these ceremonial photo ops to start a project. But because they've now broken ground, it means that we're starting to see things get removed from Chester and Heston's Dinorama. Now, I swung by there the other day, and they've already taken down some of the themed billboard signage atop the Dinosaur Treasures gift shop. That's already been removed. Now, this building's not getting demolished. This is going to stay where it is, and it's going to be rethemed as a gift shop for Encanto and Indiana Jones within Tropical Americas. But within the permits, it seems as if they might be expanding it slightly, or maybe allocating part of it for a meet and greet. That is rumoured. And then the other thing is that Triceratops Spin is already being dismantled. Now, a couple of weeks ago, there was a permit for demolition of the Triceratops Spin exterior structure, which is the queue area. Now, obviously, they're going to demolish that, but the fact that they're already carefully dismantling Triceratops Spin before they bring in the bulldozer, I think indicates maybe a positive sign that they might be having other plans for Triceratops Spin. Now, there's one option, which is that they might be just using it for parts and taking certain parts that are kind of universally, applicable to other spinners around Walt Disney World and using it for spare parts. Now, I know the Aladdin carpets in Adventureland, that is the same spinner ride system that was installed at the same time as Triceratops Spin in the early 2000s, and they might be, taking Triceratops Spin and extending the life of the spinner in Adventureland instead, or they might be using some of the parts even for the Astro Orbiter spinner in Tomorrowland. That's one option there. Or potentially the fact that they are being so careful with the dismantling of Triceratops Spin, it does give me a little bit of hope that they might move forward and relocate it somewhere else. And I've been, suggesting that it would be great to put it in Toy Story Land, as it just makes way too much sense not to retheme it to Trixie from the Toy Story franchise and call it Trixie's Triceratops Spin, as then it's another kid-friendly attraction for the little ones to enjoy within Toy Story Land, and adds additional attraction capacity within Toy Story Land and Hollywood Studios. And you do need those kind of rides within parks, and there's nothing like that within Hollywood Studios. And so to really round out the offering of Toy Story Land, I think adding Trixie's Triceratops Spin in that location would be a great solution to trying to keep it around and also adding capacity to the park. But we'll see what happens there. The other thing to mention here is that once Triceratops Spin's been dismantled, that's when the bulldozers are going to come in. They're going to clear that space and really raise the ground there, and then we're going to start to see the show building foundations start to be carved out for the Encanto attraction show building, and we'll start to see that take shape this year. They've got 2 years to get this stuff built and open, probably 2.5 years if it's mid-2027 it opens, but they're heading for this timeline for the Tropical Americas at Animal Kingdom. Then next up, Test Track over at Epcot. It's opening in late summer 2025, and I've got this construction view here from back in December of the canopy. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this one first is because it gives you a much clearer view of the canopy, of the steel framework of the canopy, and it really does restore the view of the magnificent World of Motion show building that you can see there that's now for Test Track. And it just looks fantastic. If you take a ride on the monorail, you can look down into it, and they've now got scaffolding up around the canopy, so they're really starting to put the other touches to this attraction. It's pretty hard to gauge the actual progress on the interior of the attraction based upon the canopy on the outside, as that's the only thing we can see right now. But at the very latest, late summer is September 2025, so that's the very latest it should open. But I reckon they might be aiming for midsummer if everything goes to plan, and they might be able to, quicken the pace of construction. Supposedly, from what insiders are saying, everything is going according to plan inside, so this is going to be harkening back to the World of Motion inspiration within parts of the attraction. I've got high hopes for this to really deliver in a big way. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't move to enclose the outside portion of the track, the race around the building. That was part of the early plans that they had on the table, but then I guess it just became either too complicated or too expensive to do, so they decided to move away from doing that within the plans. But nevertheless, excited to see what happens with Test Track later on this year. Staying with Epcot, we've got Spaceship Earth and the lounge there that they're opening within the old Siemens corporate lounge area. It's opening in late spring of 2025. Now, thanks to Blog Mickey here for these photos, we can see that the construction walls have been installed on the west side of Spaceship Earth's exit from the Project Tomorrow area. So you're looking at exiting towards Connections Cafe. It's that side that they've got the construction walls up and around right now. Now, we don't know yet what they're doing on the other side, as there's another set of doors on that side, but it might be that they are using this location for one set of doors to go up and another set of doors to come down to have that kind of guest flow for the Spaceship Earth lounge. We don't know if it's going to be by reservation yet or if it's just going to be just walk in and, go up to the lounge area. But either way, this is going to be opening in late spring, so stay tuned. It should be happening fairly shortly. The view from up there of the fireworks should be fantastic, so looking forward to checking that out. Then early on last week, I took a trip on over to Magic Kingdom and had a look at the construction going on Big Thunder Mountain. Now, they've got that huge crane installed there, and what this is doing is it's lifting out the track from Big Thunder Mountain and locating it backstage in a staging area. And as we can see in these construction photos, most of the visible track from the guest areas at least has already been removed. And this is because they're going to be doing a full re-tracking of the entire roller coaster system, which is something I reported on last year. And speaking of that, thanks to Blog Mickey for this very timely scoop here, but the first piece of the new track was actually hoisted into place today. And although it is kind of surprising to see it happen this quickly into the refurbishment, it is important to remember that it's going to take quite a while to do the entire attraction. And at the same time, they're going to be adding the explosion effect and, just enhancing the attraction overall. It's going to be a longer refurbishment to do the whole project. It's supposedly going to take over a year, and we're looking at early 2026 for Big Thunder Mountain to reopen for this new version of Big Thunder Mountain here. And then within Magic Kingdom as well, you've got Pirates of the Caribbean and the lounge that's being constructed there that's opening in late 2025. We don't have an exact date here, but also thanks to Blog Mickey here for these photos, you can see the continuation of the work extending out into the Pirates of the Caribbean exit gift shop area. Now, I reported on back in 2023 that this was going to go into the Pirates League location, the former Pirates League location that was closed at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, and they're going to be using that location but also expanding the footprint of this location. A bit of it's going to be expanded into the gift shop area, and as we can see here, they've put up new walls and they're building another room on that side. And I'm guessing that what we're seeing here right now is this piece of concept art for the inside room that's depicted in this artwork here. And then even on the other side, which means that they're expanding out into the queue area of Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit, they're doing some sort of construction work over there as well, and you can see the construction walls are expanding out in that direction. And so this isn't going to be a tiny little area. This is going to have some capacity to it, but I still think it's going to be by reservation only, very similar to Ogre's Cantina in terms of not wanting guests to just walk in and walk out with alcoholic beverages. You have to stay within the premises to finish your drink and then leave. And there'll be a drink cap on how much you can probably have within the establishment at the same time. But yeah, this is something which I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing for myself later on this year in 2025. Then the last thing to look at here is Reflections Lakeside Lodge. It has been confirmed. This is a go. I know this was paused a while back during COVID, but they have decided to move forward with these plans, and it is going to be opening in 2027 according to a Disney Vacation Club. It has supposedly undergone a name change from Reflections Lakeside Lodge to Disney's Lakeshore Lodge instead. And from what it looks like from Bio-Reconstruct here with these aerial images, it seems as if they're going to be keeping much of the original footprint for the 10-story tall DVC tower they originally had planned for this location. Now, obviously, construction is going to be all around at Walt Disney World this year, and we're just beginning with everything that we're going to start to see. So stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't already, be subscribed and stay notified and all that. But right now, it's over to you, the Waltoneers, as I would like to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on the latest of this construction? I want to know, what are you most excited for out of everything that's currently under construction at Walt Disney World and wanting to experience first? Now, I'm taking Cars and Villains Land out of the options there in the comments because it's not under construction yet. But Monsters Inc. will be in the construction very shortly, and then obviously everything else that they've got going as well. And with that being said, I'd also like to say a massive thank you to the official Waltoneer Club over on Patreon for always supporting this channel, as it's always much appreciated. And also a big shout out to the Waltoneer Gold members that you can see here on the screen as well, and also the Waltoneer Diamond members JC Russell, Justin Tupper and Tim Parsons. And with all that being said for today, I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.